Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my LinkedIn Live. I'm happy to be here. I took a couple of weeks of a break, and just living summer, living life, and so I'm finally back. And today I wanted to talk about something that's been on my mind for a couple of weeks now, which is back to school. And I want to talk about developing a positive back to school mindset and what that means not only for you but also for your kids. And so there's three things I wanted to talk about. And the first one was all under the umbrella of visualizing what a really successful and positive school year can look like. So, tip number one here is that positive visualization and how we can get into the habit of doing that. Tip number two is to get your kids involved. And then tip number three is to turn it into a routine, because visualization is not something that can be done on a one-off. It's something that we should be doing rather regularly. So let's just dive right in. So the first part is positive visualization. And this is something that I habitually have been bringing into my lifestyle. And it's now turned into a habit, because what I like to do is I like to think about what a certain interaction is going to look like, how a presentation is going to go. So many times it kind of falls under the umbrella of practice, right? So if you have a big speech that you need to make, you'll stand in front of your mirror, you'll give the speech, you'll kind of go through the hand motions, think about what it looks like. But visualization is taking it one step further. It's not just visualizing that conversation and what it looks like, but thinking about how it stimulates all of our senses, right? So the basic ones are what it looks like, what it sounds like. Then we want to think about what it feels like. How does it make you feel as a person? Does it make you feel empowered? Does it make you feel like you can achieve anything and everything in the world? To a certain extent, what does it smell like? Like, are you outside? Are you in a city environment? Are you at a restaurant? Are you smelling food? So all those different things. And lastly, what are you tasting? Are you eating? Are you eating lunch while you are having this meeting, or dinner, or breakfast, or drinking coffee? So thinking about all of those things, trying to create that full vision in your mind of how that interaction is going to go. And what you can do in bringing that into back to school is visualizing what your kids' initial days at school are going to look like. So, we all have kids ranging in all sorts of ages. Mine are going to be going into fifth grade and seventh grade. And there's a lot of unknowns, right? Who my teachers are going to be, who are the kids that are going to be in my class, are they going to be any of my friends, am I going to know anybody, what kind of activities am I going to be involved with, whether it's like trying out for the sports teams or joining choir or the band. So all of those things, visualizing what it's going to do, how it's going to make me feel, all of the senses, how are they going to be stimulated by this experience? So that's tip number one, to have that positive visualization and really focus on, all the good things that can happen. Because, our mind always tends to go, oh, I'm not going to know anybody. Oh, my teachers are going to be terrible. Oh, I'm not going to make it onto such and such sport team. But if we think about it positively, those vibes will help us, go more into the positive. And I'll touch on that in just a little bit with the third tip. But now we're going to move on to the second tip, which is to get your kids involved. This is not something that is a parent exercise, right? Visualization when it comes to school should be done with your kids in mind. And together you can come up with, what that is going to look like. And for me, a lot of that starts in the morning. If I want my kids to have a good day at school, it doesn't start the day the moment they leave the house and go to the bus stop. It starts when they wake up. And to be honest, it actually starts the night before. What kind of preparation have you done the night before to ensure you have a smooth and successful morning? Are their clothes laid out? Do they have their shoes figured out? Is lunch packed, or as much of lunch that is possible, is it packed? Do they have all the things that they need? Is their backpack packed? All those things. Have they gotten to bed at a decent time? Because I certainly do not want them waking up, 10 minutes before the bus comes to the bus stop. So all of those things, all that preparation, talk to your kids, get them involved, get their buy-in on what a smooth morning looks like. And then you can get their buy-in into all the preparation that's involved to get to that point. Because if you fail to prepare, then you have prepared to fail. And that was tip number two. And now lastly, tip number three, create a visualization routine. This cannot be a one-hit wonder. This has to be something that you do on a continuous basis. So, right now we're in the back to school season. Once school starts by September, October, their feet are wet. They know what to expect. A lot of those ambiguities that they were experiencing earlier are no longer ambiguous. They know who their teachers are. They know who their classmates are. They know whether or not they're going to be playing a fall sport, that kind of thing. So now let's focus on other things. Focus more on the academic side. Have they, gotten into an honors class or a gifted class? Have they, learned that new skill in math that they've been working on all school year, and finally have gotten, have succeeded and gotten really good at it. So whatever that looks like for you, continue that visualization exercise. Some questions that you can ask are, hey, what are you looking forward to in the upcoming week, in the upcoming month? What would it look like if you achieved that goal? What would it feel like if you mastered that new skill, or if you learned that new song on the piano, or if you scored that goal in the soccer game? How would all of those things feel for you? And that creates a little bit more of a connection with that goal, as opposed to just saying, hey, I want to learn this song, or hey, I want to score that goal in soccer. But when we create that connection with that goal and create a connection, a really strong connection with that image using all of our senses, here's what it does for you, right? It may seem a little cockamamie, like, oh, what is this? This looks like this, rather mystical, or, what's the word I'm looking for? You can't really quite, it's not very tangible, right? And it's not tangible, but it has tangible benefits. And those benefits are this, that getting into the habit of doing this, initially it feels a little off, right? It doesn't quite feel natural. When you're learning any new skill, initially it's not going to feel natural. It's going to take some time. But what happens is the more you do it, you start thinking about it, and then you start getting yourself convinced that I'm capable of doing that. And when that happens, when you become convinced that I can learn that song or I can score that goal, you start aligning that, bringing it into your actions. That becomes your why for all the efforts that go into bringing about that action. So you will be practicing your piano a lot harder, a lot more diligently, a lot more intentionally. You will be practicing your soccer skills that much more intentionally and really going hard whenever you have practice, and then taking time outside of practice to really work on it too. So, and if we're bringing that into our professional lives, if we are looking to, double our business, or we're looking to expand our network by 10 more people at the next networking event that we go to, what are you doing to prepare for that in advance? Are you taking a look at the RSVP list and see who's going to be there? Are you, when you get there, making sure you have enough business cards? Are you making sure you had a good meal? I try never to eat at these networking things, because if I'm eating, then I can't talk. And I find that takes away time from what I want to be doing, which is networking with people. So I always make sure, if nothing else, I have like a granola bar or a protein bar before I go. So whatever it is, do that preparation work. Think about, visualize what you want that result to look like, feel like, smell like, taste like, all those things. And it may seem weird, and some of them may be not applicable, but just think about those things. And the more we do it, the better, stronger of a habit it becomes, and the better aligned you will feel with those goals and with your results. So just to recap things, today we were talking all about visualizing a successful school year, not just for your kids, but also for you. And the 3 tips we talked about: 1 was to have a positive visualization. 2 was to get your kids involved. This cannot be a one-sided conversation. And then lastly, 3 is to turn it into a routine. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. And if you have any questions, please feel free to message me or put a comment below, and I'd be more than happy to reach out to you and to follow up. Take care now and have a great day. Remember, be strong, be mighty.